Good morning. I'm out delivering some ornaments for some neat places around town in Alabama and dropping some off for Florida, back and forth. Just wanted to come on real quick while I was out in my mobile art ministry, traveling, dropping off, packaging in all the things, and putting the merchandise in different places that I love to connect with shop owners, as well as just offer what I make to hopefully bless you or those that you love around this time of year for this season. So I just wanted to keep encouraging you while I'm out and about. It's really cool, very cool. I've driven from Florida to Alabama to Florida to Alabama, and have offices in both. More so maybe in the new year, my offices in Alabama will be even more ready. But I just wanted to remind you to be digging in the Word while I'm out and about delivering and dropping off. I just keep going back to, I was in the Word the past 3 days, just going over the Christmas story, just looking for little nuggets and details maybe I've missed or maybe I haven't thought about, or maybe I've just kind of brushed over and really haven't paid that much attention to, And so I was just reading about the 3 wise men. And, the more commentary I read, the more sermons from people that I believe to be valid, pastors and scholars. It was just interesting to expand my point of view and my thinking from, it could have been 3 wise men. It could have been an entourage of wise men, some people think. And just to understand, wise men, magi from the east came to Jerusalem. If you go to chapter 2 in Matthew, and it says, "Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, in the days of Herod the king, Herod the Great, magi, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, asking, 'Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him.' When Herod the king heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him." They were disturbed also. Interesting. "So he called together all the chief priests and scribes of all the people and anxiously asked them where the Christ, the Messiah, the anointed one, was to be born. They replied to him, 'In Bethlehem of Judea, for this is what has been written by the prophet Micah.'" And then just began to quote it, which I think that's just so interesting. It's like I heard somebody say, they didn't have Google, they didn't have, a computer to just, look that up, as I have to do, because I can't seem to retain much of anything as far as where it's found, what the numbers it was. And so I have to go back. God said to me through someone over my life, go back over it. I'm like, that's all I do, because I can't seem to remember exactly where something was found. But I get the gist. It's like, I always say, it's like Prego. It's like or Ragu or Prego, the spaghetti commercial from back in the 80s and 90s. It's in there. I know what I'm trying to say is in here. I just got to find it and the reference. But they didn't need any of that. They just went, yeah. In the Bethlehem of Judea, for this is what has been written by the prophet Micah. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not in any way least among the leaders of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Micah 5:2. They're just like, no, well, what? How do you know this? Well, that's what the word said. That's what the prophet Micah said. So anyway, then Herod secretly sent for the Magi and learned from them the exact time the star had first appeared. Then Herod secretly sent for the Magi and learned from them the exact time the star had first appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search carefully for the child, and when you've found him, report to me so that I too may come worship him." Little skunk, that's not what you were going to do. Then, after hearing the king, they went their way, and behold, so after they met, when they saw it, and they went into Jerusalem, into Bethlehem, and they were asking, well, where's he at? And then they went to talk to Herod, and they came back out, and there's the star, which they had seen in the east, went on before them, continually leading the way. So they had seen it, they got there, they asked around, from what I understand, and then they kept going. And the star led them until it came and stood over the place where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And after they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And after entering the house, losing my place, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then after opening the treasure chest, they presented to him gifts for a king's gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned by God in a dream not to go back to Herod, the Magi left for their own country by another way. I just love all the little tiny nuggets in here. One, I learned more about the wise men. I gathered a little more, I guess, understanding. Like, they were Magi. They were knowledgeable. They were wise, as in, so they would seek knowledge. They would... kind of like a scientist does, and I think the word was scientifica, scientifica, I believe it was the Latin word, but it meant to gain knowledge, and that's what a lot of scientists were, just gaining knowledge in different ways, not just astronomy, astrology, but they seeked. They sought after, is that a word? Seeked in that way? I don't know. But they sought knowledge, and they were wise. And actually, what I didn't realize is that they were kind of high-ranking priests. They were able to identify people that were going to be kings, and also help name who was going to be a king. So I did not realize that. So until I kept listening, and we get the word magic and magistrate. Let's see. They were from Persia. So I just found out, I wrote a lot of little nuggets here. And then it was interesting to me that they, I believe, were like the Gentiles, and they were going in like into this place of where the Jews were. And, you know, somebody made a comment that I was listening to, which was kind of a good point about, you know, why weren't a lot of Jewish people that had the law, that, you know, could quote the law, that were bound to the law of the word, you know, why was it they weren't scrambling to go and find out about this king that was born? But, you know, then maybe some had heard, maybe some had not, maybe some knew, maybe some were, you know, so in the world, you know, it's interesting to kind of, imagine the whys and the why nots, and let God through the word answer your questions. But they brought the gold, the frankincense, and it says gold, the gold, you know, it was in here, you know how, you know, Mary and Joseph couldn't find any place in the inn, and maybe it financed them. The gold helped finance them. The frankincense, the priest used it to give as a gift offering. It had, like, you know, when it had this thing that oozes, this resin kind of stuff. When it dried, it oozes out, but when you break it apart, it's like a white resin, and when you break it apart, it has a beautiful smell, but you have to break it. So that's interesting that he was broken. And then the you know, it has to be crushed to get the aroma. And then the myrrh was an aromatic fragrance too, but it was used to take for pain, but it was also used, I wrote here, for like the stench in death, like used almost like I don't know if it'd be like an embalming fluid type kind of thing, but that was interesting too. It usually represented something to do with death, which I didn't know that. But anyway, I just love all the different things I'm learning more about, than just the three wise men. And they obviously didn't get there like the day he was born as you grow up thinking and all that, because it says, after entering the house, they saw the child and Mary and his mother. And so it was just interesting to me. And that also that they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshiped him. While Mary is a very integral and important part in this story, and I love the story of Mary, and I love all the things God shows me about Mary, they, went in and worshiped him. And I love that. They worshiped him. And the importance was on the baby, Jesus. And, being the Savior, the Messiah, the King. And so I just loved all of these things that were packed in here just in chapter 2. And, just digging more into who the wise men were. And look, I'm not your theologian. Go read in here, listen to excerpts, read commentaries, see what you think. And, as you read, I was reading even earlier yesterday, but I didn't get to come on and say anything. Just in the first chapter, even all the cool things that I unpacked, and just some encouragement I found in there for people, for my children, just the promise of your spouse. I loved how it said earlier in chapter 1 in Joseph, her promised husband being a just and righteous man. I love that, her promised husband, to encourage those that are waiting for their spouses to keep believing that God has someone that will be equally yoked with you. I just love how, and then Joseph awoke from his sleep and did as the angel had commanded him. So there was immediate obedience. There's just so many things in here. I love how God just unwraps, if you continue to look on things in a different way, and then take the time to just dig and dig and dig. I say the gold out, like dig out the gift that God has given us in this word, in this Bible. So I gotta go, but I just wanted to say I've got to deliver all these adorable little ornaments that I hope will bless and all of your people. And if you need any, let me know. I can get you some through mail if you hurry. I have a few dates left for getting together with some last minute gal friends to paint and create. So just want you to have your own season where you dig out the gold, where you really appreciate and dwell in that place, that treasure of the gift of our Savior that we were given, that was born at this time. Just to think on those things, as well as all the hustle and bustle. And I got a lot to still do in that area, but want to keep my eyes focused on Jesus, focused on him, and encouraging you. So I hope you have your own brush with Jesus too today. See ya. Mwah.